Hey, top of the morning to you. Michael here. Grandkids call me Rue. Thanks for being on the show this morning. Sorry, hitting a few last buttons here, and I was in the middle of painting a bee that I thought could be a Christmas bee. Haven't done. I've done a couple Christmas bees around trees, but I don't think I've done one the other day like that one carrying that Christmas ball, like the crab that I did. And so I was thinking about having I left a little space for that. Very rarely that I plan ahead, but I tried to this morning. Let me say hello to some of you. and the music's finally died down. The Irish band that came in early this morning to interrupt me. I'm going to freshen up my tea here, and then here's the thing. Let's start off with just something that I miss a lot of times. One is I want to say hello to so many of you that just pile on the show from time to time. Pile, that's a bee pun, P-I-L-E. The hair on a bee, the fuzz, the hair, the little fuzzy things that you paint is called pile, P-I-L-E, just so you know that. Know your bee anatomy. You know, somebody sent me a great painting, and I've actually painted it before a couple times. It's here, actually. It's a bumblebee. This is it. This is his bum here. This is the bull, the head part, you know, and the whole thing is the bee, the bumblebee. I think that's a great anatomy. It's the simple guide to bees. I'm still painting 2,000 bees. I'll be painting them for a while. I'm up to 700 and I think it's 745 or something, 46. Maybe this will be 746. I think that's right. I keep a little card here. Excuse me. I'm still coughing, getting over. I keep saying I'm getting over because I think that the optimistic way to look at what it is that's not COVID. According to the doctor, it is flu, but I'm 3 weeks out from it. No fever, no nothings, just sinus and stuff. And so I'm still on my antihistamines, and it is what it is. So I'm not complaining. Let me say hello. And listen, if you have any questions today, just anything from, I don't care, from where it is in life, just where are you going next? What are you thinking? How's your mom and them? How do you make cornbread? Whatever you want to do, throw some QQQs in there, or just a couple Qs at least. I'll search through that and I can find them. But let me say hello to some of you. Thank you for jumping on the show early. Thank you for being here on this Monday morning. It's chilly in Charlotte, North Carolina. And so, and I'm going to doodle around with this bee while you think of a question or two that you might want to send in. If you want to send in a note, and I'll just get to it and paint this little Christmas bee here as I do this. I'm going to throw some color, some yellow in there, and a little bit of what I might call my titanium, Buff Orpington. Buff Orpington, that's a chicken. Titanium buff. Buff titanium. I knew I could get to it. Buff Orpington. Man, I love those chickens, huh? Pat Brooks, thanks for jumping on so early. Good to see you. Cindy Simmons Wiltermood. Two great artists right off the bat. Andre Nail, yes. Catherine Brousseau. Karen Bender, thank you. Deborah Lynn Tauber, thanks for being on the show. Caffeine in the cup, morning to you. I know the feeling. Mine's tea, of course. I do get some comments from time to time, people who just drop through and see the show on the Facebook feed, and they go, "What's floating in your tea every time? It just sort of looks like there's a toad in there." And that's what it is. You know, what's that old saying? If you eat a live toad first thing in the morning, nothing worse can happen to you all day long. Frogs, coming up the road, frogs. If you haven't seen Red Skelton do the Rudyard Kipling rendition of Boots by exchanging the word frogs for boots, then you need to look it up on YouTube. There's no silence in the night. You need to see it. Red Skelton doing frogs. My boys and I, about every 5 years or so, I showed them that when they were just little wee guys. About every 5 years ago, one of them we'll be talking about something and the word frog will come out, or I hear a frog or something, and the next day the link of that will show up in my feed, and we'll just do a little rundown. And I showed them Red Skelton when they were just old enough to start to get humor, and it's just funny. He puts on his hat and he comes to the desk and he takes his napkin and he folds it up and he puts it in his ears like this, and he's going, oh, no, I've heard it. I can't stand it, actually. I love that guy. I love that guy so much. He is so genuine. He was an article. Becky Bailey, welcome to you. Jennifer Yintz, Marion Awad. I always say your name wrong. So someday if we meet, I will say, so sorry that I mispronounced your name so many times. Quick checking before I go visit my son in the hospital. Okay, and we are praying that he is improving and getting well. And that's a tough thing on a parent to face. And you go in there with great hope today, my friend. Beverly Schmidt, good morning to you. Beverly from Greenville, South Carolina. I know that. Deborah Sprangler, Chris Whitaker. Chilly morning here too. Love it. A little frosty morning on the chickens. Their backs are all frosty. If I had chickens, I live in a neighborhood. Nobody has chickens in here. We buy ours at Trader Joe's. Not our chickens, our eggs. Jennifer Parker, thanks for being on the show from North Dakota. I bet it's a little chilly out there. June Jones, always welcome your humor and style on the show. Lisa Bryant. Burt Crone, good morning to you from chilly Greenville. Yeah, and JJ Das, thanks for sending me a note. Jacqueline Goodrich. Linda Cook Van Landingham from Exeter, California. Always see you guys out there, and you and Denise always together. Betsy Maxon Tripp, good morning. Thanks for being on the show. Susan Peters, Sharon Clark, Renee Keese. All right, so here we go. Let me do this. Jean Anthalzer, thanks for being there. There's Denise from Exeter. Sammy Ulcer, thank you. Dora Red Skeleton. Yeah, wasn't he the best? Wasn't he just so awesome? Donna Sell Barton, I saw a piece of art 2 nights ago in the Mint Museum in Charlotte, North Carolina. A collection of from DeMel Jacobson collection. This couple had collected art all their lives, and he passed, and she has made it available. And there is a painting in here. Yes, it's this one right here. These are all American painters. This is John Henry Daughtry, which, don't you think it's interesting that his name was John Henry? And you think of John Henry as a steel-driving man. And this looks like some of the giant machinery when I first went into a train yard. And so it's kind of got this wavy approach to it. It looks a little funky, and it reminded me of your artwork in your Rube Goldberg gears and all the machinery. Look up John Henry. Let's see if I'm right. Yes, it is John Henry Daughtry. It's Daugherty. Holy smokes. He lived from 1887 until 1974. And this is called the Steel Mill. And you're going to see some giant hammers, some giant rods, some pistons coming down. It looks like they're in not only the steel mill, but it looks like when Carol's uncle took me to the train not only the depot, he took me to the train shop in Jackson, Tennessee one time where the great Casey Jones crashed. And I just was mesmerized by the size of hammers and anvils and all those things. We had just been married a few years, and she said, "I'll take you on a field trip." I'm going, "Let's go." That woman has always been showing me something that's creative and artful, and it's just how she's wired. And so what a fun thing. So frogs taste like chicken. Sometimes they do, and I've had my share. Okay. All right, so here's some QQQs. Let me throw them up here, and we'll just go for a couple QQQs. There's a couple already, and they're both from, one's from Chip Fur. Biscuits go best with, and I can't say gravy, all right? That's the second question. Biscuits go great with, here's the thing that biscuits go great with. You don't have to, and by the way, if you've seen I don't know if I have a commercial laying out here that I did for Bojangles on biscuits, but there's one that I've done. I show it from time to time. Toast says you're eating alone. I'm not complaining about people who eat toast. I don't care if you love it. And the British always sit down and they put it in a silver toast rack. Okay, that's a little bit of, they're trying to get toast to become community. When they take those slices and they put it in the little toast rack that they set on the table. And by the way, I'm surprised that we don't have one because they're silver. And yes, the Bon Vivant, the Crayola has this thing for silver. She wears 18 silver bracelets because that's and we're not even Jewish, but she admires the people so much. She wears 18 bracelets most of the time because it's the 18 is the letter for L'chaim, life. And so that's why she has 18 bracelets on. So we go on a video shoot and I go, you got to take those off or I got to duct tape them down or gaff tape them down to your arm because you go, sheen, you go, what was that? You think somebody drew a sword. I digress. That's what you do. The British have a toast rack, and they're trying to tell toast that it's okay for me to be here and go and scratch the toast roughness off and put on some butter and then bite into it, and it sounds like walking in gravel, somebody coming up to your house when the pea gravel on the front steps. Biscuits say, welcome, it's community. And I baked 14 biscuits just the other Saturday morning when I left the show and went down. I did them in a cast iron skillet, and then we did a little petite filet, try to say that 5 times, in cast iron. And my son and I, because he's working on something for his work this week where he wants a little quick biscuit steak. So that's one of the things. But without it getting very glamorous, let me tell you what to do. You take your saucer and you get some French butter. Yes, go ahead. Just buy some. Buy it at Trader Joe's. You don't have to go to Paris to fly it back. Just get some French butter and just put a little chunk on there and do a Paula Deen chunk. Okay? I mean, for heaven's sakes, if you're going to eat butter, don't just kind of miss it, as my dad would say. Cut me a piece of cake and barely miss it. No. If you're going to eat it, so put a chunk of butter on there and then go get yourself some sourwood honey and drizzle that over it until it just covers it and runs over the butter and falls onto the sauce. And then take a simple tined fork. 3 is perfect. 3 tines. Okay? And then just crush it up and make yourself some honey butter. And do this within 2 minutes of that biscuit coming out of the oven. I should have a theme playing right now. And then split that biscuit open with the fork and lay it back. And then just scoop up that honey butter and lather it on there. Have your tea close by, and then quietly you'll just sink your teeth into that and it will start to break apart and you'll go, there's what you have on the biscuit. Make your own honey butter fresh right there. Don't buy that processed stuff. Just take that slab of butter, boom, I said slab, chunk, and then cover it so that it's covered and then mix it all up and make your own honey butter. Room temperature butter. You don't want to put it too cold on there. All right, am I done with that question already? What kind of brush do you use when you're painting at restaurants? Yes, I painted at a restaurant yesterday. I use 2 brushes when I'm painting at restaurants. First of all, I use this. I use a water brush sometimes, which some of you know as a Yasutoma water brush. Do I not have one up here on the desk? That is embarrassing, as Papa would say. It's embarrassing. Rats. I'm going to get one. Talk amongst yourself for a second. You had no trouble doing that, I'll tell you that. Okay. Here we go. Those are a little longer ones. I have a couple shorter ones that they make. These are called these are Yasutoma brushes, but they actually have a name, and it's been so long since I've called the name, I forget what they are, but it's the brush that Yasutoma sells. And it's you also can buy these from Pentel, and they're about $20 for a pack of 3. But here's what I'm going to tell you about the Pentel. They last for about a year and a half, and then you have to do a lot of more maintenance on them. And this is not easy to do. To take one of these apart, you actually have to take this and you have to push it backwards and pull out this little membrane. You got to make sure you don't lose the little drip valve. It's a little complicated. It's not like taking a fountain pen apart, but it's a little complicated. And so I find that after about 3 years of these, I've worn out the nylon and the valve's getting a little shaky, and I'll just punt them. And I think I do think there's $8 or $10 a piece, but wow, if I get 3 years out of something that cost me $8, come on, that's an investment. So I use these sometimes. I have a shorter one that fits inside my vest pocket down here, like so. Boop. I have a little vest that I wear like this. All old Baptist preachers learn to say, by the power in my vest. I'm wound up today. I need more tea. That's one of the brushes I carry. So it's a water brush. It's made by Niji, Niji, by Yasutoma. You can get that at Cheap Joe's. Cheap Joe's carries Yasutoma supplies out of Torrance, California. The other brush that I carry is this brush right here. And this brush is a, it came in this little kit. I don't carry these two, and I think you can see why. This thing looks like it's a signpost, but it's a number 12 Fumuui. Here's how you, it's F-U-U-M-U-U-I, Fumuui. And it really is a hair brush. It's made very much like a sable brush, and it has a beautiful watercolor point on it. This is probably a number 8, I'm guessing by the size of the handle. Number 8 it is. There it is. So these 3 brushes come in a pack, and I think the pack is not very expensive. It's like 15 or 16 bucks. As you can see, these 2 have never been used. They just stay over there. This one, look at it. It is beat all to goodness, and it's a number 4, I believe. Yes, there's a number 4, and look at the end of it. I'm just about to wear it out, but I will tell you this. I can put it in water, shape it a little bit, and it starts to come back to a pretty good point. And there it is. And this is sometimes the brush that I carry with me in restaurants, because it's in my pocket along with an 05 gel pen and a small My Altoid box, which is still down in my jacket pocket from yesterday. So we went to Bricktops yesterday after church. We sat at the bar. Nothing like going to a bar on Sunday. We sat at the bar, and guess what I was asked? First thing, the lady who comes up, and she came up to bring us some drinks, because the guy at the bar usually, he looks over and he says, "Hey, you're Roo." And I said, "Yeah." And he said, "I have 6 pieces of your art. The small pieces that you've left here at the restaurant. One of them, a person had 2, and she gave me 1. I give them to my girlfriend. We have them in our house, or she has them in her house. And we've had 2 of the paintings that you paint on the tablecloths. They're paper tablecloths there. Now at the bar, you get a linen napkin, so I haven't messed up that. But the lady who came over to bring the drinks, you know what she said? She said, "I don't see any paper. Are you not painting today?" Okay, so let me tell you what's fun about that. It's a fun thing. It's not a prideful thing, but it is kind of a fun thing where people go, "You're recognized for," Carol and I come in, she has the lobster bisque, I have chicken and waffles, or an omelet, or just something, and they do. Look, I can do my own omelet. This is our favorite restaurant where we live, but something about eating there about once every 5 or 6 weeks on a Sunday morning is just perfect. And I saw a friend yesterday, and he said, "Hey, have you seen my brother lately?" And I said, "Not in a year." I said, "When you see him at the holidays, tell him hello," and we catch up. And so this I carry in my pocket, and I will ask them sometimes for another little glass, even a shot glass if you're at the bar, and put a little water in it. And they go, "Have you lost your cotton picking mind?" Not the one guy. He goes, "I know what you want to do. You want to paint." And so I will dip this little travel brush. And what do I carry? I carry in my vest pocket a small little journal with little 3x4, 3x3, 4x4 pieces of watercolor paper. This is 6x6. So I hope that helps a little bit. So I carry this brush, I carry a water brush, and sometimes I've been known to just slip a little angular brush like this. This is a little Dynasty brush. I'll carry this in my upper jacket pocket here. And as you can see, it's a little... they call it a dagger brush, or a 1/4-inch angle brush. And so it's kind of a fun little brush to just carry. I don't care if how the tip goes out. And I can also just grab the tip and just sharpen it a little bit with my fingers if I need to get in there. But that's generally the brush right here. So if that helps a little bit, I love that question. And so there you go. There's your 2 questions answered right away this morning. So thanks for jumping on the show, Scylla, and hello. Let's finish painting this bee, and then I'll go from there. Let's see. Jane Hedrick says, "Food focus is killing me. Was not hungry before." Yeah, no. And this week I'm doing juice all week. So there you have it. That's not true. Tomorrow I have to go somewhere. I'm having lunch with a friend. But I am, but most of this week I'm having just juice. It's that time, plus I just like to take a little detox week before the holidays come in. And so look what I'm doing here. Just grabbing this little brush and just a little warm water with, and remember I sketched this with a fountain pen this morning, a Pentel Metropolitan, which is really, honestly, I guess I have to tell you, don't go buy it just because I said the name of a new pen. This pen was gifted to me just recently, but it's a beautiful tip, and it's the same as in my Kakuno. It really is the same tip as in a Kakuno. It's just in a little classier handle. So if I have to dress up, my Sunday go to meeting clothes, I would carry this one in my vest pocket, carry this one in my other pocket, carry this one in my pocket, carry this one in my pocket. I sort of look like a pack rat. Yeah, but that's how I've always been, okay? I'm one of those guys that don't call me a Boy Scout, because I'm not. But just say that if you're going to think like an artist, you got to carry something. And so people always ask me what brush I paint with, but they never ask me, well, and they do ask me too, what I sketch with. And I'm just going to tell you right now this morning, as you see me sketching this bee, I don't sketch with a pencil most of the time. Why? Why? There, I'll ask you a question. Why don't I sketch with a pencil most of the time? Why do you think I have pushed myself to sketch with? Why do you think I've? What are your to-go colors in your travel palette? Hey, if you got questions, make sure you give them a cue, but I can see this one already. Heather, is it Foybert? Heather, cool shot, Heather. What are your go-to colors? My go-to colors are these right here. Here's a gamboge yellow. These are all American Journey colors, by the way. You guys know that I love Cheap Joe. I love Cheap Joe's art stuff. In fact, I'm going there tomorrow up in Boone. I'm going to be there. I'm going to try to get in right out of between the nasty rain and the messy roads. It's got some weather coming in, but I've got to go to Boone and I got to get some art supplies. I have got to I got to buy a new number 4. I've got a couple brushes to buy. I'm running low on my Kilimanjaro paper. So I might as well tell you about these American Journey paints. That's what I'm going to pick up. They come in a tube. They're American Journey. People, listen, if you love Daniel Smith, if you love Rembrandt, if you love Van Gogh, just name an artist. If you love HG, I can name all these different brands. And you know what? I'm not saying they're not good. So you will not hear me say, oh, this is better than this. I'm not saying that. I'm saying I paint with a paint that I love for my style. It's smooth. It has strong pigment. It has good light fastness. That word means that give it a few years, and if the person hangs their piece of art in the wrong place and the sun's hitting it a little bit, it's going to last a little longer. Look, if you want your watercolor paintings to last really well, don't put them where direct sunlight hits them every afternoon, especially a southwestern sun. It'll just, in 2 years, you'll go, I thought we had a painting there. So you have to be careful where you hang your art in your house. That's why lights are dimmed and controlled in art galleries, because, yes, things fade. Lay a piece of newspaper on your porch for 2 weeks and watch what happens to it. It looks like a yellow tea bag, okay? So for me, this is smooth. It's filled with good pigment. It's bright, which is for my style again. But remember, if I don't want it as bright, what I do, I add more water, or I use less of it, or I temper it outside before I bring it in, or I put it in and I touch it with something it's like a paper towel to just extract some of it out. I erase. I like how it dries medium. It doesn't dry too fast. It doesn't stay running for a long time unless I really pump in a lot of water. So I'm telling you what I tell the folks in my beginners classes. I love it for lots of reasons. So here's my colors if you want to write them down. Some of you know this. If you really want to see it and see what the kit looks like that I use most of the time, you're going to see it on page 50. I don't know. Depends on which year catalog you have. Here, this is 2021. This is 2022. I think I'm on page 50. Watercolor sets. 50. There it is right there. There. If you go to a Cheap Joe's catalog, or if you just go online and you open this up, there it is right there. There's Roodoodles right here. There's me and my... people say, I don't understand why you have a hard hat on when you're painting. And I'm going like, because I've been known to throw stuff. I throw brushes up in the air. I'm just that crazy guy. But there's my Roo. There's a mention of you guys in here. I have excelled, it says, in creating a following. And basically, if you'll say it's a community, and this doesn't say it, but in my class coming up for them that I'm going to be painting in live, I'm going to do a live class for these guys in Black Mountain, North Carolina, coming up next year in March. Part of that's the community, and they go, we love it when an artist reaches into the community. You're that community, people. You paint, you share stuff. You're already doing more than I'm doing. There's more of you. I'm just leading the band with sometimes a trombone, which is obnoxious. There's a Yasutoma brush in there. Look at that. There's a number 3 probably. There's a number 6. I bet that's the brush. I bet a number 3 and a number 6. There is a, look at this. I can almost make this whole thing. There's a Kilimanjaro paint book. It's right there. There are 6 colors that I have in a small little palette, if I can find it. Here it is right here. Same that I carry in my my small little Altoid box. This is just a little brass box. This is Gamboge. This is a mixture of either Joe's Red or Hot Mama Red. This is a little bit of a spring green with a little bit of olive squirted in on the side. If you look down in there, you'll see 2 colors of green. A little spring green and a little, or sap green maybe, sap or spring and a little olive. This is ultramarine blue. I always use ultramarine blue in something I paint. My wife loves it. I love it. You can treat it lots of ways. This is lamp black. A lot of people do not carry black in their watercolor. They mix a red and a blue and a purple to get it, and a little more brown in there. I do not have brown in this palette. In my other one, I have a little touch of brown. This is French gray, and I think all those colors are laid out here. And then what I've done is I've cheated in here a little bit, and look, there it is. That's Terry Tardy turquoise, and it really is Andrews turquoise. Andrews turquoise is how you about to buy it at Cheap Joe's. I call it Terry Tardy because Terry Tardy is a friend that I met in January of 2020, right before COVID. She and her husband were down in Orlando, and I painted them a little something at the desk, and we started talking, and she told me she was a potter, and she's been on this show ever since. And so her favorite color, even in her pottery work, is turquoise. And so that's Terry Tardy. Anyway, there's some great artists in here. Ward Stroud is in here. I think Ward's coming to this class I'm teaching, and Bob Burridge is coming to this class that we're teaching in Montreat. And so I'm there, and people are going to start signing up soon. I think those mailings go out soon for people who follow Cheap Joe's, and then I'll be listing when you can sign up if some of you want to come and do a live class. I think it's 4 or 5 days. It's quite a big event, and so there's the colors that I use, and it's right there in that book. That sounds a little braggadocious, but that's just kind of how that works sometimes. If you go to Cheap Joe's, there's a bigger page on this one. This is the older catalog, same setup. If you go to Google Cheap Joe's and just type in Roodoodles, or if you type in Roo 857, yeah, it shows up. All right, so I hope that helps. Good question. Never use Red Hot Mama with a name like that. I'm going to have to get some. Yes, and John Robert Small says, yeah, Bob Burridge will be there, the Carrot People guy. That's exactly right. I've wanted to meet him for a long time, so he's going to be at the Montreat class that I'm teaching. He's teaching a class there, too, in his creative approach to water media. And even though he uses a lot of acrylic, he dumps a lot of water in and uses that. So I'm doing mine on, it's an all-comers intermediate class, not just beginners, but we're going to talk about creative storytelling. We're going to talk about connecting people in your art, small art, and even how to sell art. And so that's kind of what I'm going into. All right. Forgive the bad cough. I actually feel better than I sound, as they say. Okay, so I'm throwing a little bit of that French gray right on his tail there. See that? Just why? Because bumblebees have a little bit of white in their tail. And then I'm just going to take if I had a pencil, I'll just take this, and I'm just going to, I got some more of that in that brush. I'm just going to flip that titanium in there, maybe a touch of French gray, and let some of that black go into that, like that. I'm going to create a little bit of an eye here. This is why I use, because I do a lot of black in rooster's tails, and because I use a lot of black shadowing, and I like it inside. Other than just mix it, I just make a place for it in my palette, if that helps you. Some people in watercolor say, there's 2 colors I never use in my palette. And I go, never is a long time. I never use white and I never use black. And I'm going like, fine, fine. Make your palette work for you. Don't just paint my palette because you think, oh, I'm going to paint like him. What's my kick that I've been on for the last few weeks? Stop copying everybody else's art. Learn from them, learn what they're doing, and then start to make your own style work. Okay? It's not about copyright, and it's not about that. It's like, it's those of you who paint dogs. Don't, Denise is an awesome cartoon character dog painter. Everybody's dog doesn't need to look like her dog. If you're going to do dogs, do the dog with your style, your flair. It's like, how many colors can you use in a dog? You can't use as many greens and blues as I use in roosters, because roosters have greens and blues. Dogs, greens and blue. Well, you know, you could do an Austrian sheep doodle. They're blue, and they got a blue eye. The point is, paint your style and paint who you are and let that come out. For me, I have black in my palette because I really do like it in there. It just works well for me. And this is what I'm talking about, the little pile right here on this bee. This bee. And these wings are way too bold and dark for what I was working on, but I'm going to take some white in here and maybe just sort of kill it a little bit. It's going to let it flare just a little. Here's where I'd like to have a little bit of brown coming up, just to tint those wings just a little, because there's a little bulky, but so's this bee. So I think what I'm going to do now is just take a Christmas ball, and I'm going to have him carrying this Christmas ball just kind of on his way to the tree. So how could I do that? I could put a little piece of the tree over here. I think I'm going to change pens. I think I'm going to go with this this fountain pen right here. Since I started this thing in fountain pen, I'm just going to do this little tree just like this, and just some fine little lines like this. Is more of a little fir tree. I'm just making this up as I go. I didn't plan this painting. As my friends, the writers in the sky would say, don't start making a plan now. So, got any more questions? And somebody would, we already have that style. We need your style. I'm looking for, yeah, you know, my heart dog, yeah, Australian Shepherd. Yeah, my son has one, so I get it. Pat Brooks said, yes, you can use the Noodle Doodle Fiddle tool as one. You're going to see Pat's cartoon work in that also. You're also, by the way, give those to your grandkids for Christmas, for heaven's sakes. It's a shameless plug for the book. Order some books so I can send to Pat enough money to have a Thanksgiving turkey on. We need to sell some books. I don't have any piled up here. Well, actually, I do have a dozen. I ordered a dozen, and then they're here. But you can get them from Amazon.com. Just go to RooDoodles on Amazon. Don't have Payne's Gray. I don't have Payne's Gray in this palette, Donna, but I do in my other one. And so in my other palette here, I have a little Payne's Gray hiding out right in there. But here's what I've learned. If I take some lamp black and I throw a little bit of, if I take my lamp black right here and I toss it right here like this, and then I take a little water and I over wet it like this, look what I have. There's my Payne's Gray right there. So I don't have to take up the spot in the lid. I've already sneaked in a couple lid colors. And if you're not careful when you're out painting at a restaurant or a coffee shop, you need to run, you need to take a phone call, you close this down, and then it drips into these. And I don't like that. So I like to paint and then just let it sit there for a minute, make a phone call, and slide it over in the sunshine a little bit and let those colors gel a little bit before I close the lid and stick it in my pocket. There's nothing worse than it all running down the side, and the next time you go to open it, it's, yeah. I'm a mess maker, okay? All right. See, somebody says, why do I not use pencils? Kay Groff says the lead doesn't erase well. And you know what? You might be right on. I'm going to tell you why I paint with pencils, or why I don't sketch with pencils. Here it is right here. I am not a fan of erasers. I use them from time to time. I'm just not a real fan. There's a lot of pushing around, and there's a lot of sliding, and they'll smear, and they just make me a little bit frustrated sometimes, and I get a little some smear the ink, some smear the graphite, and so I know you said the word lead, but pencils are graphite. You know, they used to say, don't stick that pencil in your hand, you'll get lead poisoning, but that really isn't lead, it's graphite. You can eat this, it's not going to hurt you. Don't. But here's the reason. Let me show you. If I sketch this rooster right here with this pencil, and it really comes out kind of nice, and I like it. I'm going like, oh man, this is a good little Roo. Look at him here. And I do this very often with the feet of Roo. I'll either throw it back here like this, like he's walking, or I'll take it out here like this, and I'll wrap it around something. Like one of my favorite things to wrap it around is of course this pin right here. And then come back here and put a break in the pin and another break here, and then put the pin holder there. And this is where you do a little piece of paper and you do chicken scratch on here, or you do a sketch. So I have this rooster here. So the tendency is that I think, gosh, I wish I'd have started closer over here so I can erase, or I can start here. So there was a point in my painting that I decided that if I wanted to paint loose and a little more carefree and not so tight, I didn't want to leave my painting desk and be like, I feel like I got to go have a massage because my neck and my shoulders are tense, my hand is tight, my fingers have grooves in them. You know how when kids write and after they've written their numbers to 1 and 100, you look at their hands and they have this pencil indentation here, and you go like, where did that come from? Especially in my old hands. And so I'm going like, they're holding the pencil like at any moment somebody might come by on a bike and take it from them. They're like, the wind blew the pencil out of my hand. And so they're holding it like this. And when you hold your pencil like this, it tenses up your fingers, it tenses up your wrist, it tenses up your arm. If tenses up is even a word, but you know what I mean. The tenseness in the nerves tend to make the whole body tight, and then before you know it, you're going like, okay, I don't have any movement here. Whereas if I approach this with a little better posture, I'm sitting on the edge of my seat. Remember, for 10 years I painted standing up, or with 1 foot on the ground and 1 foot on a stool, perched up like a bird that was ready to fly. And that's the style I like. And I also am not this far away from my work. I'm a little closer to my work because I like to get in here and I like to see it, and I like to have my hands on top of it. That's a style thing. Is it a teaching thing? Possibly, but it certainly is a style thing. So for me to come in then with a brush, so I thought, now I like this. No, I wish I'd have changed the way the comb was. I wish I'd have brought more comb out behind. And so then I'll start erasing, and I'll start going in, and I'll start cleaning this up, and then I'll miss a place, and then I'll have to go back. And I suddenly have turned a 5-minute, sharp, brilliant, fun, loose painting into an 1.5-hour piece of art. And I don't want to do that. That's not my goal. My goal is not to see how fast I can paint, but my goal is to paint something that's kind of suggested, that's just there a little bit. My goal is to not spend an hour on something that may not even have a home. It is to spend an hour practicing something that I want to learn. I know how to paint a rooster, so I don't need to use a pencil anymore. So I just pick up a pen and go, okay, what if I just painted this again on this side, and I just went like this with the pen? And you're going like, gosh, I think the other one was better, but I'm remembering what I did. I wanted to bring that comb out a little bit more on this one, and I bring it down, and I bring this up, and then this one's under here, this one's back over here, this one's back where the tail feathers link out. There's the hinge part of that ankle that comes down. There's those little lines that I make to make a foot. There's the second toe. It's longer than the first toe. There's the back toe. There's this one. Remember, the second toe's a little longer. This one's wrapped around this way. I'm going to bring back the tip here. This one's the foot. Come back, and then I'm going to put my pen right in here. Now this time, I'm taking some time with my pen because I'm painting the pen. And I'm going to make this pen look a little more like a fun ballpoint pen. And so there's the bleed back. There's the end. There's that. And so now I'm going to put the holder up on top. So I did it like that. And I'm going to put a little ring here. And I suddenly am putting some detail in here. And I have this. So let's say that I made a mistake. Shoot. That's too close to the bottom. So what? So I started painting with a pen for 2 reasons. Listen to this. 1 is I love a pen. I love the way the pen bleeds. 2, I love the fact that you just commit. Did you get it? You just commit. Just commit. And you go like, man, if you'd have put this up here a little more, then you would have had more ground down here for a comment or for some whatever it is you want to do in the foreground this way. And I'm going like, nah, just one little cross hatching. I'll just put it right here. And then, yeah, but look, isn't this too close to where you're going to frame it? Well, I could have put tape around it. I didn't choose to. I could have also left room for the frame. Nah, what if I just want to put it in a shadow frame? 2 pieces of glass and let the whole piece of paper show. What if I just wanted to rip the edge like this? And go, yeah, that's better. What if I just wanted to come down here like this and go, oh, that's perfect. Now look at that. That's a work of art right there. Uh-oh, I dropped the top of my pen. Let me get that. So then what if I came in here with just all this? I'm getting back to my bee. Don't worry, we're going to finish that bee before the show's over. He's a Christmas bee. It's beginning to look a lot like... Oh my gosh, it just came to me right then. I guess that's going to be the title of that one. It's beginning to look a lot like Christmas. All right, so look at this. I'm going to put some little feathers down here like this. I'm going to put a little more cross hatching right in here. Why? I'll show you why in just a second. Watch this. I'm going to switch pens on you. I'm going to go from this one to my Safari pen. Should have some music playing in this, huh? Should have some nice Christmas music like this. There. That's not Christmas music. So once I start with the pen, I'm committed. Once I make a mistake, I work through the mistake. Did you hear that? Once I start with a pen, I'm committed. And once I make a mistake, like, I could have changed this beak a little bit, then I'm committed. I'll just bring it back in here. I'll go here. Draw a little drip down off this. Watch this. I'm going to change this in a second. You'll see what I'm doing here. Look at this. All right. Put a little bit of this fountain in here. Now, I'm just going to grab my Yasutoma brush. I want to move a lot of water. Here. This is a number 3. It's a number 1. I'm sorry, SW1. Okay. Here's a number 1 SW. I'm just going to come in here and start using this. Remember, I have not used any pigment, any paint, just those 2 fountain pens. I use the Metropolitan, which is made by Pilot, and I use this Safari, which is made by Lamy, or Lamy. Just letting this water hit the ink on this watercolor paper, and what it's doing is giving me this great little approach to this pen. You asked for Payne's Gray. There it is right there. That's as Payne's Gray as you can get. All right, now let's just do this right here. Watch this. See what I just did? Just splashed it. Grab some ink right here. That's how most of my papers look when I'm painting. Okay. Yay, Payne's Gray. Denise is a pencil sketcher, yes. And Denise, but look at her style. She's a pencil sketcher, and so is Chris Whitaker, because of their style. Look at their style. It is very minute and detailed. It is very measured and calculated. That's so perfect. It's perfect for what they draw. You could not do the eyes of her dog. You could not do the hair and the mouths and the ears of her dog without being detailed. So for that, I recommend a pencil. For me, I make more mistakes. I am a loose watercolor painter. I chose that as my style. Please find your style. Work toward it. Find an artist that you love and learn to paint what they're doing, and then take that off ramp and say, I'll take what I learned here, what I learned here. Pastis, that's the French word for collecting it. You know, put it together. I don't know if Picasso copied anybody. I do know this. A lot of people in Cubism have copied Picasso. And I kind of wondered why. When I got into art, I went, I don't understand it. I don't think I want to copy it. I don't particularly care for it. If you love it and you get it and you understand it, that's great. But for me, I just could not see what he saw in his art. People don't see what I see in my art. They go, you must be a little wired funny. And I go, yeah, my show starts at 8:57. I had a gentleman this week say, why 8:57? And I said, the answer that I give everybody, it's just 3 minutes off of 9 o'clock. It's just because there's a little something off. And I welcome that ADD, ADHD. I welcome that fast brain. I welcome that as I bring it into art and go, I want my art to just be a little bit off. I want people to go, that guy's either funny or crazy. He's either nuts or mad. We don't know which. But he seems to kind of be consistent in what he does. It's the style. Okay, there. You see how you can fill these times of space with just some fun things. This is just water again. I'm going in here, grabbing a little bit of this, bring some of this back. I can come in now with this, let's do this Lamy. I can come in here now and bring in some serious, let's see if I can get this Lamy pen to just flash on me a little bit and drop. Yeah, there's something coming out. Man, I'm shaking that thing really hard, but it's not coming out too fast. Let's see if this Metropolitan will. I'm going to wet the tip just a little bit and see if I can. Oh, yeah, there we go. That's what I was looking for right there. I was looking for some ink to just kind of come and hit the page. There it is. So I'm just throwing black ink on this. Why? Well, because it kind of goes everywhere. And I love that. I love the fact that it's just kind of skidding away. I'm going to put some detail in here. Don't think I can't come back in and put in some detail. I put a little spur on the rooster right there. I put a little bit of another piece on the pen. I like this pen all covered up in ink right here. I'm going to put some of that splatter down in here. Just let it sort of drop in. Well, scratch. Yeah. Chicken scratch. Okay. RooDoodles.com. Michael 22. There it is right there. I'm going to add one piece of color in here in just a minute. So you're going to see me finish that one too. All right, here we go. Let me finish this B and let that dry, and I'll come back and finish both of these. So I hope that helps you today a little bit. All of that to say have a biscuit with butter and honey, but have a pencil sometimes. And then if you want to be different, just sketch with a pen. What if you make mistakes? What if you begin too close to the margin? What if you get too close to the edge? What if you say, I didn't leave room for this? What if I wish I'd have put this behind that? Just draw your way out of it. Just do some squiggling and some rough lines. You remember what I was working on the other day? I was working on a, let's see, where is it? Was I working on a lobster? It's not in there. It must be in this one here. I was working on this crab, and I said I need to change this crab to make it my crab. And I painted that other crab holding the Christmas ball. And today I painted one holding the Christmas light, and he's holding a bulb. And I painted, of course, yesterday I painted the other painting of the tree and the Christmas bulb, and it was a red bulb, and the cardinal was a red bird. Look, say it 5 times. Red bird, red bulb, red bird, red bulb. So I thought, what if this cardinal zooms in? I painted this last year, and I wanted to repaint it. What if this cardinal zooms in and sees this red Christmas light sitting in the tree, and maybe he's like me. Maybe it's late in the evening. He goes, hey, bub. It's so southern. Hey, bub, how you doing? He's going like, oh, man, don't tell anybody I just spoke to an object, a shadow I thought was somebody. So part of that is, this is kind of a Christmas thing that I just finished this morning and painted this. Here's the bee, and I'm going to finish this so you can just see what I've done here. I'm going to, like he's flying, I'm just going to do it with a pin. By gosh, here we go. I'm just going to do a Christmas ball that's kind of hanging over this way like this, like it's being swung in the air just a little bit. And bring it in like here, and then I'm going to take this piece right here, bring it in like this, and then I'm going to take the little hook and I'm going to bring it back here, bring it down. And so I suddenly have this bee that's it's going to get some detail in the wing right here. And it's going to get a little bit of black line going right in there like that. And then just some foibles. And I'm thinking this tree's got to be painted. I'm going to grab this. You don't see me paint with this brush very often because I either carry it in my jacket pocket for just restaurants, but it is a little 1/4-inch Dynasty brush. I'm just going to grab a little bit of all these greens together here, and I'm just going to come in here and put some, remember now, I painted this tree with, or I sketched this tree with a fountain pen. And so some of you are going like, oh my gosh, why did he sketch the tree over there? Why didn't he sketch the tree here? Why did he move this whole thing over? Because I didn't want to. I'm theatrically letting you figure it out. Does anybody who's watching this doesn't get that there's a tree over here? No, you see it. You see it, it's right over here. It's there. It's a Christmas tree. What's this painting about? It's about hanging a decoration on the tree. So is it really about the tree? No, it's about the decoration. Maybe it's about the bee in the tree. It's about the bee doing his own. There's a little tree. Look what I've done. I've gone back in wet on wet and picked up this Kakuno pen, and I'm just putting some black in the tree like that. Now I'm going to come in here and I'm going to put a few lines down in here like on this Christmas thing, and I'm going to do a little ellipsoid top like so, cut back. I'm going to make this one red also, just because you say, well, of course it ought to be red, but I'm going to come in. I've got 10 minutes to go here, so I got plenty of time to finish this up. Plenty of time. Come in, I'm going to add a little more water right here, and then I'm just going to go in and I'm going to add some of this Red Hot Mama and Cheap Joe, and the Joe's Red with Red Hot Mama, and I'm going to bring it in, and I'm going to come in like this, bring it down. I want a couple little white places to stay in this. I want some of that ink to turn black. Okay, notice, pencil would have never run, but ink runs, ink bleeds. And so I like it when I touch it here and it bleeds into the red. It creates a little bee shadow on this. Little bee shadow. Yeah, see that? A little black shadow on his body. I'm going to clean this brush out a little bit and come back in with a little more red right here, and then clean it out one more time. Rinsing my brush out. Can you hear that? Dot, dot, dot. Damp brush, and just drag this into the dry area of the paper like so. I'm going to come and get a little bit of silver. I don't really have silver, so I'm going to use some white and gray and buff mixed, and I'm just going to touch the top of this right here to just create, and let the pen run, barely touching it, a little bit of the Christmas ball. Okay, got it. I'm going to come in here with a little more black on his legs like this. This is a fun little bee. I just thought of this. I did not think of this bee before I started this morning. I just sat down and there was a bee laying there. There's actually always bees laying on my desk, for heaven's sake. Seriously. There's one. There's one. Let me get rid of that. There's a hard hat I needed. Look at this. Let's see. That needs to dry for a second, so I've got another couple minutes here. There's a lobster that I started. Here's a bee. There's a bee in pencil. Okay, so it tells me that I was probably sitting at the desk and there was a pencil laying there, and I just started painting a bee. There's a dragonfly. There's another bee, bumblebee. There's a bee. Whoa, work, work, work. I like that one. That's a good bee. Honey, I'm home. There's a bee. There's the Beelerina. There's the Art of Being. There's this is 401. Oh yeah. Where was I? Oh yeah. Where was I? Oh yeah. Look, it's a little piece of drawing paper. It's like 80-pound paper. There's another one. This is number 730. There's Be of Good Courage. There's the one I had this morning. There's another one. 626. 570. I think I said this one is going to be number, I think I said this is number 746. Number 746. Roodoodles. Michael 2022. I'm going to cover a little more of this, just let some of this shade come out and some of this go down. I like this bee. Okay. All right. I don't have to finish a lot like Christmas. You know that. It's beginning to look. Whoever looks at this a piece of art will go, huh, it's oh, I get it. You see, the caption works for itself. Remember what I was getting ready to say a while ago? No, how could you? Here's what I was going to say. Why did you do the tree over here? I did the tree over here because theatrically, it's a stage. And this story is this bee has found this. He's going to be putting it on the tree. And you know this is a Christmas tree. These two connect. You know there's another part of the tree is out here. I just don't need to see it in my painting. What I do need to see is a little bit of sky, so I'm just going to take a little touch of this. I always practice my sky out here somewhere. Oh yeah, that's perfect right there. Just a little bit of blue. Just touch. That's too much right there. That popped out. And maybe a little more here and there. There's just if someone comes in and they stand really close to this, they're going to see a little blue scatter in there, and they're going to go, oh, that's cool. There's a little bit of sky in there. He didn't just leave it on blank paper. He did paint the background. Why can't we see it? I don't know. That's just who that guy is. He's a nutcase. Cannot be trusted. Okay? So I don't do a lot of brown in my trees just because, but I do a speckle every now and then. Okay, that works. That works right there. Maybe come back in with a pen and just kind of come in here and add a little bit of some more little spikes of, what am I doing, 955? Hey, we're knocking this out. I'm going to finish some color on the rooster. And any more questions? Let's see. Let me go back up there. You have good memory working on it. Okay, I sense a sale coming. Time for an auction. Of course. Why wouldn't I auction them off? As a matter of fact, I got to replace something in my shop or in my studio, and I'll tell you what I have to replace. I spent 30 minutes this morning trying to get a camera squared away so I can show you the show. So yes, that's kind of what I spend my money on. Glitter sprinkles would look great on that one. Okay, Annette, I'm not going to mix my glitter with watercolor, but I appreciate where you're going with it. But the last thing I want to do is pick up some glitter here. And that's funny, though. I love your approach. All right, so I'm just going to touch a few of this little pieces here. I had a little too much water in this when I started, and I want this red to be shining just a little bit more, but I also want a little of that. Here's where I might grab some Payne's Gray and just touch a little bit of the shadow on top of this there, so it looks like that bee is shadowing that. It gives me a little more of that 3D look, and that's why I just left that over there. This is a good painting. It's funny. It makes me laugh. I like it when it comes together. I'm just going to go in here and grab my little brush. No, it's a big brush. I'm just going to go and touch a touch of red right here. Just a touch of red right there. And a touch right here, just like this. And I'm going to touch a little of this gamboge yellow right here. There. It's going to run with the pen. I'm just going to let it run. And I want a little bit of this orange yellow to just punch in right here on his feet to just create some separation. And I'm not going to do any more to this because it already had ink. And if you look what's happening, I did not put, this is just water. I did not put any green in there, but there's a little bit of green coming through just where that water is. So I'm going to just splatter some water on this like this, just splattering clean water. And I'm going to let it dry, and hopefully it'll get some of those fumato, some of those blended mushroom spots that I like, the hard edges that people don't care for. I will touch a little bit of blue here and just splatter some around like this. And I think I should probably give him a little bit of earth to move on right here. So I'm just going to stroke that a little bit like this with some shadow. If I wanted to add any color in the shadow at all, I might take a little bit of, just a little bit of purple. And I might put a little touch of purple right here on this pen. And then back on his body right there. Okay, I'm done. I'm done. Finished. Whoa, 9:58. Love it. All right. Ding. Pick up a bottle of clear glitter nail polish for Christmas bulbs. Deborah, I appreciate that, but that ain't going to happen on my watch. Hey, could I get some clear nail polish glitter for, my Christmas bulbs? Hey, I'm pretty secure in my insecurities, but I'm not going to do it. Okay, you do it, and you have fun with it. If that's your style, and if the shoe fits Cinderella, you wear it. I think that's fantastic. I really do. I love it because your brains are firing at a great speed, and that's just really fun to see it happen. All right, so for me, I painted 2 pages. You want to know how big they are? This, no question, 6 by 6. This is, I don't know. It started out as 9 by 12 on this old piece of watercolor paper, and let's see what it is now. It's there is a piece I want to clean up right here. This got just a little too dark. There it is. Okay. This is 10 by 8. 8 by 10. There you go. This would frame at 8 by 10 behind a piece of glass, even if you had to trim it a little bit. I kind of like it. I like it a lot, actually. And so it was the concept of sketching. What's on the back, remember? A pencil sketch. Look, there it is. There it is. It's on the back. So it's reversible. So if you put it between 2 sheets of clear glass, you can always turn it over and say, here's where he was teaching us the difference between sketching with a pencil and erasing, or making it work just as it is and letting the accidents happen where the accidents happen. Well, scratch. Yeah, chicken scratch. Okay. And that's what happens sometimes in the art studio. All right. We got no more minutes to go. And so I'm done. Taking my pen, putting some little beauty marks in there, some loose feathers just hanging around, sticking around like this. Kind of got to love those a little bit. And I'm out of here. Hey, thank y'all for being a part of the show. Grab your cup right now. Would you just think of somebody that you need to send a text to today, a note of encouragement, a word of prayer? Just be in touch with people, for heaven's sakes. Share something today. I gave away 2 pieces of art yesterday. It was so fun. And 2 for 1 art piece. 2 for 1 art piece. Oh, I get it. 2 for 1 art piece. Yeah, there you go. It's reversible. It's like my vest is not, but it's like my other shirt jacket, which is a shacket or a shirket. It's a jacket with a shirt, and my son gave it to me to weld in. You go like, is this a shirt or a jacket? And he goes, yes. Last Christmas, he gave it to me to weld in, and it's really kind of fun. I like it. It's something I wouldn't wear to church, but it's really kind of cool. All right, so do this, and listen, tomorrow morning, those of you who are on Patreon who have been just started the book of John, dig in, get a week ahead of me, because I'm going to be on the road trying to beat the snow. I'm going to, and I'll post tomorrow from Cheap Joe's if I can make it up to Boone in the morning. But I've got to get to Boone early and have a lunch there. It's a last minute change thing, so I have to go do that. I'll send a note out. But blessings to you all. And yes, I'll post these. They're worth posting. Here's the thing about doing auctions like this, 2 for 1, and I'll do both of these together. Here's the thing. You can keep one and gift one, so it's a great Christmas gift. Usually you wind up getting an original painting at a very fair price, and that's to gift to other people, and that's what I do. It's what I like to do anyway. And thank you for purchasing my art. That's always fun. I've had the same reaction to watercolors from galleries. At first I thought it was because they wanted bigger paintings, but now I'm not sure that's it. Yeah. Kelly, I will respond to this like this. The only galleries, I only sell in 2 places that are gallery oriented. One of them is a real high-end art gallery. The other one is just a small coffee shop. And I've said, when you get serious about your watercolor art and you want to do small pieces, small works, and honor the artists that do small works, let me know and I'll be a part. And they've done really well there. And by the way, I can't afford them there. Okay. I can go there and see them framed. Oh my gosh, double matted and framed, and an 8x10 like this. And I couldn't afford it. I don't mind it because I split them at a very hefty proceeds. I don't mind it, but it's expensive. So I love it though. But it's marketing. Everything you do is marketing. And so if you want to learn how to sell your art, you got to connect with people. And that's going to be something that I'm going to talk about in my class in March, but also I'm talking about in my beginner's class that's going on right now. We'll spend the last week talking about that. The last hour. All right. Blessings to you all. Appreciate you. And thank you for being a part of this. Where's my harmonica? Always have to go out with a theme song. This is really not a theme song. It's a theme sound. Frogs coming up the road. Look up Red Skelton. You'll laugh.